rise for the pledge?
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the packed house of Philipstown for April. We have one guest here this evening. Approval of minutes, workshop, January 24th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And I vote aye. Philipstown Depot Theater meeting, Philipstown Depot Theater meeting, February 1, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And I vote aye. Public hearing continuation, February 1, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Regular meeting, February 1, 2024. We were busy that day.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Public hearing continuation on March 7th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Conservation report.
Conservation Board met on March 12th, 2024 at 7:30. There were two items of old business. One is at 20 South Mountain Pass Spur, where a household is redeveloping an accessory structure. The conservation has been in front of the Conservation Board. The Conservation Board voted to issue a permit based on Putnam County Health Department approval of the septic system. The second case was the Hudson Valley Shakespeare Festival seeking a permit for excavation of the entry from Route 9, which is around a wetland. The Conservation Board had reviewed the maintenance plan and asked for more details, and they made a decision to issue a conditional permit, and they are moving forward with a joint planning board public hearing on the matter in April. And then finally, the Climate Smart Task Force Solar Committee introduced the local solar law that's being worked on and asked the Conservation Board for any comment. A few Conservation Board members did have comments, and so it is on the next agenda item for discussion again to hear the Conservation Board feedback. The next Conservation Board meeting is this upcoming Tuesday, April 9th at 7:30.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you to the Conservation Board. Recreation.
Good evening. The Recreation Commission did not meet in March due to illnesses, but will meet on Tuesday, April 9th. But I do have a report from Cecily at the Rec Center that the spring programs and events have launched throughout the month of April. They'll be launching, and the Philipstown school districts are on break this week. So there's a break at the Rec Center, but April will be very busy as they launch the programs. They also had a family movie night where all families were invited, and they featured the Super Mario's film, and that was, the kids were excited to see that. They had as well a teen night, which was very successful. Upcoming events for the rec program are a senior lunch at Pax Romana and a show at the White Plains Broadway Theater, a trip to the Empire City Casino, and lunch at a seashore restaurant in City Island in May. That's in May. There will also be a tour and lunch at Brotherhood Winery in June for the seniors. Upcoming events for children include the Spring Youth Theater production of Finding Nemo, which is the last weekend in April. And there is a senior spring luncheon this year on Wednesday, May 1st. Due to the AP exams for the schools testing at the building during the majority of May, they have to schedule that luncheon for May 1st. There's also some developments with Climate Smart at the Recreation Center. Climate Smart submitting a report to New York State and hoping to install electric vehicle charging stations at the Recreation Center, which the town has obtained, and the Climate Smart Task Force has obtained grants for. There is also, the state has to approve, but they hope to do that before the end of August once camp ends. Camp has to be out for the EV chargers to be installed. And finally, Philipstown Park will open during the season through it will open April 13th. And during the month of March, Griffin Organics is treating the soccer fields ahead of the spring season. And the Highway Department will be digging the water line in April. And we will be kept up to date on that as well.
Thank you. I'd like to make a quick report about the Recreation Department. When Amber Stickle resigned, it's quite a while ago now, I think it was last summer at this point, I don't remember the exact date, but we appointed Cecily Hall as the interim director of the Recreation Department. We then requested a civil service exam for that position through Putnam County. There were 3 residents, we made it a resident requirement, there were 3 residents of the town of Philipstown that took it. So the Rec Commission will be interviewing the top 3 applicants, which they were all 3, and the 3 of them passed it. So the Rec Commission will be interviewing the 3 candidates and then making a recommendation to the town board, and ultimately the decision will be made by the town board. So I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Philipstown Hub.
Chris Owens, the director of the Philipstown Hub, has submitted a report and wanted to alert everyone that April is National Minority Health Month. And he has reported that care coordination for the Philipstown Hub had 268 touch points during the month of March. They reached those residents, as well as since the start of the fiscal year, 2,634 touch points. That's very impressive since the fiscal year started on July 1st of last year. There have also been emails to the Philipstown Hub, and there have been 161 emails. Calls amounted to 62 calls, and texts, there were 40 texts to the hub. The cases that have come into the hub include a participant looking in need of services for their child. It was determined that in-person services were the best for that child. Other children looking for services, they've reached out and have found virtual providers who provided sessions for these children. And they help participants, they help anyone receiving services with confirming that their insurance will be accepted. The hub assists the family by covering the cost of therapy services with the insurance company, and also for those who lack insurance, the Jane W. Nunn Charitable Trust. Another case, a parent came to the hub asking for assistance. They were referred by their child's school. The care coordinator met with the parents, and they discussed what type of provider would meet the child's needs. And they're working with the family to find a provider that will meet the needs. They continue to receive comments from all of the families in Philipstown that are served. One parent wrote they appreciated the help so much that it had helped their family, and they were able to find appropriate resources. Another family wrote that the time and effort that the hub coordinators put into searching for resources was deeply appreciated, and they're thrilled that they were able to find the resources in their town. So that is great news from the hub. The next board meeting of the hub will be April 17th. Thank you, Chris Owen, and all the care coordinators and the board of the hub for their support. It's incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. Planning Board.
Planning Board met on March 21st, Thursday, 7:30. Had a full agenda. The first thing on the agenda was Martha from Climate Smart Community came and gave a little update what she's doing, and also on the solar. There was no public hearings. Old business, Hudson Highland Reserve, Route 9 and Horton Road. They've been part of Planning Board for about 7-8 years now. They're asking for a 6-month extension on the preliminary subdivision, and the Planning Board approved that. Garrison Golf, Valley, and Shakespeare Festival. They were before the board too. They're requesting a schedule a public hearing for next month with a joint public hearing with the Conservation Board. Jason, was that brought up at your last meeting?
It was, yeah.
Can they attend it? You know?
Yeah, the Conservation Board wanted to move ahead with it.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So they'll have a public hearing on the 18th, which is coming up. That would be the next planning board meeting. Gonzalo Plaza LLC, 3626 Route 9 in Cold Spring. This is the site up there, which was going to be an oil for storage facility. 3 months ago, we put a moratorium on the oil storage, and they've now changed their plan. They're not gonna be storing any oil up there whatsoever. They're still gonna have an oil business there, but there will be not any storage of oil. They'll have some oil trucks there, but they won't be storing any oil on site. They had a site visit back in March. They reviewed everything over the site visit, what came up with our our town engineer. Sorry about that. They referred letters to the county planning, conservation board. The board is also requesting an update of the property use permit. Also, they requested a tree removal, but the board did not grant them that. We've had some issues in the past where the board has granted tree removal and has ran into some issues, so they're no longer doing that until they get the final permits going forward. Marcel Carvala, 429 Spratbrook Road in Garrison. They have a minor project. They're constructing a detached garage in a minor driveway realignment. It's in steep slopes right now. That's the reason why they're in the planning board, because they have a very, very steep slope there. So the board is gonna go do a site visit this coming Sunday at 9:30. They did not schedule a public hearing at this particular time. They did refer it to county planning and the conservation board. Last on the agenda was CRS International, 2761 Route 9. This is the warehouse, which is currently located at J. Cox Road in Route 9. They had all the approvals last year to move forward with this project here. They made some changes to their application. They're gonna have reduced staff there, and they're gonna take the space from office space, they're gonna make that into the warehouse space, but the overall footprint is much smaller than it used to be.
This is for a new location,
No, well, it's the locations that they had already approved.
which is south of 301.
Yes, south of 301, right by the barbecue, right by the
Yes.
barbecue pit
Yep.
there. So, they listed it as, like I said, reduced office space. And they're gonna reduce the truck traffic as well. They're saying they're not gonna have as many trucks coming in there as well. So right now, they really didn't do too much. They just requested, county planning and so forth like that. And that was the first time they've been through the planning board with these changes that they're having. So, that's it. The planning board will meet on the 18th. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Megan is not with us this evening, and she did report to me that there will be no zoning meeting for the month of April. So we'll move right to it.
Okay, highway. Submitted by Adam Hoteling, Superintendent of Highways, work performed in Philipstown Highway Department in the month of March. Another winter is almost behind us. Many of the roads will be needing potholing and cold patching, which is normal for this time of year. The Highway Department is working as quickly as possible to improve road conditions. Spot grading has begun as well as road sweeping. Crews have been out working on several drainage problems and keeping pipes and waterways cleared. East Mountain Road South between Esselborn and East Mountain Road North was closed for one day for a new pipe installation. Adam had a site meeting with Steve Gabba for a drainage issue on Nelson Lane. We will be drawing up an easement in order to remedy this drainage issues. A meeting was held with the Highway Department and Martha Upton, our Climate Smart Coordinator, and Jason Angel to discuss using grant money to possibly switch over one of the vehicles to electrical vehicle. It was determined at this time is not a viable option due to the type of work that's used on our trucks, plowing, hauling, and so forth. The technology is not there yet for highway trucks. But maybe we can look at possibly getting a little pickup truck or something instead of and the next time they come up, possibly use it, one of those trucks instead. We've been receiving many calls and replace the road signs which have gone missing. I guess during this winter month, sometimes this road signs get knocked over by plows, possibly, I don't know. If you see a sign that's fallen down, please call the Highway Department. We'll take care of it, make sure we get it back up. For the month of March, the Highway Department received approximately 30 phone calls and spent about $11,000 on vehicle maintenance. End the report.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Adam. I have nothing for building and land. Megan did report that the cemetery committee, will meet in May with Target and Miles to discuss the spring stone repair. Thank you to Megan. We'll get the cemetery moving. All right, right on to the agenda.
The first thing is a resolution authorizing the donation of $300 to the Nelsonville Fish Fur Club for this year. Annual Kids Fishing Derby scheduled for May 5th, 2024.
Can I get a motion to approve the $300? We've done this for the 14 or 15 years that I've been on the town board, and I think it's going on longer than that, so I certainly support the Kids Fishing Day.
So moved.
Sure.
That's
So-
the motion.
I
Second?
seconded, my daughter also participated in that when she was a child. It's a wonderful, wonderful.
Mine both ended up in the water
Yes.
every year. Every year they end up in the water, so.
It's a nice event for the kids, and they do a nice job. They draw quite a few kids there, so it's really
My
nice.
kids are going to be competitive with each other. They see who wins, so we'll see.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you.
Next is a resolution approving the length of service award program for 2023 ambulance company service certification form and sponsor approval form for the Philipstown Volunteer Ambulance Corps.
My thanks to the Philipstown Ambulance Corps for the service that they provide. We have a very vibrant ambulance service here in the town of Philipstown, between Garrison and Philipstown. We're happy to support them financially, and it's nice to know when you call 911 that you're gonna get an ambulance and not wait an extended period of time. I have been told that every town in Putnam now has paid staff, so we shouldn't be doing as much mutual aid coverage on the rest of the county that we were doing, so. But my thanks to the Philipstown Ambulance. Can I get a motion to approve their LoSAP program?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
The next is schedule workshops or meetings.
So this afternoon, I got a letter of recommendation from the town engineer to approve the two bids. One is for direct drilling project, and the other is for the well number 8 water main extension. The low bidder was the same contractor on both T&A Construction Incorporated out of Poling, New York. For the well number 8, the water main extension is $171,000. That's for the trenching and the pipe installation. The documents are all here with it. And then for the boring under 9D, they also came in as the low bidder, dramatically lower, at $36,000. Ron has checked out their references, and he feels that we should go ahead with this. Unfortunately, we just got this afternoon. We do not have a resolution to go along with it, so I would like to call a meeting for tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the board to do a working session to approve these. Steve, if you can get us a resolution by 11?
Yeah,
and then
no
we'll-
problem, I'll email it over.
We'll print it up. I can give you a copy of these, and we can get this in motion. It's been a long time coming. We hopefully will no longer be buying water from Tronsolito or from anybody else. We're going to have our own well. We still have to finalize the pump install and the electrical installation and the controls, and then we will be fully online pumping our own water again. So thank you to Ron Gaynor to getting this together in a short period of time. So we'll meet for that tomorrow. Any other, I know we have a workshop already with our data committee on April 17th. Does anybody else have any other workshop requests?
Do we, on the community conversations, do you think we need a workshop on that? No, you sent that to everyone, Matt.
Happy to have a workshop with you, but I think right now we just need to organize some good follow-up.
Okay, great.
So if that's it for workshops, I do have a statement from the HHFT Data Committee, which I will read later in the meeting, but we'll continue with what we got going. And so no other requests for a workshop. We're in good shape. The regular meeting will be May 2nd. Code Enforcement Monthly Report.
So the monthly report for March 2024, fees collected, $25,987.18. Total number of permits issued, 30. Additional alterations and repairs for residential buildings, 2. All other permits, 28. And number of COs, 23.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Any other business that comes before the town board? I have 2 items. One is the statement from the HHFT Data Committee. So in June of 2023, HHFT asked to form a data committee to review the data, both the environmental data as well as volume, both traffic, pedestrian traffic and driving traffic. So I'm just going to read what the request was, which I think this is a wonderful program. We have, the town of Philipstown has 2 representatives, the village of Cold Spring has 2 representatives, and the village of Nelsonville has 2 representatives. They have spent 8 months reviewing a ton of data and asking a lot of questions, and I really appreciate the work that our committee has done as well as the other 2 committees. So this is what HHFT had asked: to work with HHFT visitation management and environmental review consultants to understand and inform the gathering and analysis of data for traffic and pedestrian visitation patterns and counts. The group will also have early review and discussion of the visitation projection and the methodology used to determine it before it is shared with the public at the announced fall workshop. God bless you. A stipend will be made available for the committee to hire outside technical expertise to assist them in reviewing methodology and interpretation of results. The committee is advisory in nature, but has an opportunity to proactively and meaningfully inform the data collection process and visitor projections to ensure we're achieving robust analysis in keeping with established industry best practice. It is also expected of each volunteer that they keep their respective municipal officials, that's us, and other stakeholders as appropriate informed of key process and decision points along the way for transparency. This community liaison role accounts for half of the anticipated time spent in between meetings. So the reason we're doing this, I'm reading this, last night HHFT had a public meeting to disclose the data. The data committee, and I'll read their statement, was unhappy that this happened prior to them having the information, the total information that they wanted. They have been receiving it. They have been represented. They have their own consultant. There is ORCA. There is AKRF. This group felt that they should have had an ability to finalize their opinion and circulate it prior to last night's meeting. Unfortunately, we had a meeting scheduled here last Wednesday, which we couldn't have because of a venue issue. Sunday, I received an email from our committee that they were displeased that this was going to happen on Wednesday night. Unfortunately, it was too late to change it. And HHFT board did make a statement last night at the meeting that, that they will still receive a report from the data committee. So I just wanted to get that out. And this it's quite lengthy. So, but this is a media statement from the Visitation Data Committee regarding Fjord Trail visitation projections. The undersigned members of the Hudson Highland Fjord Trail, HHFT, Visitation Data Committee from Cold Spring, Nelsonville, and Philipstown released the following statement in response to information presented on April 3rd, 2024 at Dutchess Manor regarding visitation projections for the Fjord Trail. The Visitation Data Committee was announced by HHFT on June 12, 2023, with the stated goal to help review the ongoing traffic study, pedestrian counts, and visitation projection for the project. This committee has dutifully spent the last 8 months reviewing these studies and projections. At this time, we feel it is important to inform the public of the significant concerns we have about one of the reports that HHFT is developing for the DGIS submission. On March 26, 2024, the committee met with HHFT consultants, ORCA, and AKRF to discuss a visitation projection report, and it's available on HHFT's website. And their response to our prepared questions, we found the report to have several concerning elements which have not been addressed. Number one, the selection and comparability of parks used to project visitation was not adequately justified, and key characteristics of our area, such as access by train and close proximity to large cities, do not appear to have been closely considered in choosing comparable parks. Moreover, the HHFT study has chosen a composite comparable visitor growth rate of only 4.2% based on those parks. Next point, actual data from the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation does not appear to have been used in the visitation estimates for the project area. Currently, available attendance data for the Hudson Highlands State Park from OPRHP shows a 10.7% average annual growth rate in visitation from 2016 to 2023. The Orca report shows the same park with only 7.6% annual growth rate for the same period. The next point, data from surveys of potential visitors were not tested for selection, bias, or statistical significance. The next point, one survey-based estimate presents a 10% increase in potential new users under 55 years of age. This does not seem to take into account new categories of users, such as families and cyclists, in addition to those who currently hike the more challenging mountain trails. The impact of marketing and social media was also not included in projections. We were equally troubled that the report they shared with us was not the full report, and it did not contain the full data set, citations to sources, or underlying calculations performed as of this date. The additional data requested by the committee has not been provided. I did address this with HHFT on Tuesday, and apparently it is in the works that they're getting the information that they've looked for. So we have also had material concerns about, one, the adequacy of data collected by ORCA and AKRF to study pedestrian visitation to the village of Cold Spring and the broader area, and two, the methodology and coding of HHFT's alternative analysis, which omitted less dramatic options and included elements that favored HHFT's preferred route from Dockside Park over the alternative studied. Specific committee questions submitted in mid-March about the possible presence of submerged aquatic vegetation, SAV, within the preferred routes alignment and the lack of the SAV's presence in the AKRF alternative matrix have also gone unanswered, which I will address. We feel it is necessary to share this information with the public, as was the committee's charge, because the formation that is being portrayed in public meetings has not been adequately examined and does not take into account the informed recommendations of committee members from the communities most impacted by visitation in the trail. We hope that HHFT will revise their research and analysis consistent with the committee's feedback in order to make the estimated projections more reliable. Until then, the public should not assume that the Visitation Data Committee is satisfied with the information and analysis presented. Again, this is not my opinion or the opinion of this board. This is a committee that we requested, we put together, and I feel responsible to represent them and support them. So this is signed by Chris Winward, Mayor of Nelsonville and Visitation Data Committee member. Phil Kotnak represents Philipstown. Jeffrey Robbins represents Philipstown. Henry Feldman represents the village of Cold Spring, and James LeBate also represents the village of Cold Spring. So I felt it was important to read this off. They feel that they're not getting the information that they need to make an accurate assessment of the data. I did discuss this with Amy the other day and MJ, so I'm confident that we will be provided the information, and we will have an opportunity during the DGIS to make this presentation to what they have to give to us. So
will we revise the data report they presented last?
The data report that was read last night, they wanted it to be known that their input was not included in that presentation last night.
So HHFT will revise it to include
That's up to them to decide. And it's also, their explanation to me was, it will be the data committee, our data committee should report to the town of Philipstown, and we should make our recommendations during the DGEIS portion of this project. And we will have a 60-day period to comment on that. It's apparently going to be released in June, and then we will have a 60-day period to respond. So our response will be inclusive of our data committee. Right. Okay?
I guess I would say I'm glad you shared that, and I'm glad you said, because it was a committee we helped form, that you were publicly supporting that way, and it just seems like more to look at, but valid points made by that voluntary committee, so.
The request was, I think, a wonderful idea from HHFT to form this committee, and I think it's great. Here they are, they're working, they have questions, we need to answer their questions, so. And I think, I'm confident that we will. On another note, I did meet with one of the board members, you may know him, Richard Shea. He's on the board of HHFT, along with myself, Legislator Montgomery, Mayor Foley, Mayor Winward, and we openly had a conversation about, what our feelings are for the trail, and I think it was well heard, and I'm confident in Richard's ability and his word to work with us to satisfy. As I've said from the start, at the May 8th meeting, I said it publicly, it's home rule. So I support the trail, but if the Village of Cold Spring does not want the trail coming into the village, then I will support the Village of Cold Spring. It's home rule, it's their space. They have to be happy with it, so. And I think there will be a resolution that everybody will, you're never gonna please everybody, but I think we're going in the right direction, so. Okay, got that out. That was quite a mouthful. I have something else, and this one's much happier. So, you guys all received a copy of this. So this is to Supervisor John Van Tassel, Philipstown Town Board, from Stacy Farley and Peter Daberon. We are writing regarding an idea for a potential Philipstown community farm with the purpose of growing food to feed hungry people. Currently, we operate Daberon Farm along 9D, which is an organic vegetable farm. We all know where it is, opposite Boscoville. It's beautiful. We have two missions. Our primary mission is to grow food for food pantries and for people who are food insecure. Our second mission is to grow farmers, because we need more farmers for the future. With a small staff of farmers, we grow organic produce to serve three pantries: Philipstown Food Pantry, Fred's Pantry in Peekskill, and Fairground, which serves Beacon, Wappingers, Newburgh, and Fishkill. Our work can only be done because of the generous help of a large group of volunteers, many from the Philipstown Garden Club, who assist with harvesting, along with volunteers drivers who pick up and distribute the food to local pantries. Together, last year we harvested over 15,000 pounds of vegetables, which were then delivered to our pantries. Our goal is to get food on people's table within 48 hours of harvest, delivering produce which is fresh, local, organic, and free to those who need it. Our work is based on a fundamental belief that access to food is a human right. We believe we can do more. We are interested in finding plots of land where we can grow more food and to feed more people, utilizing the help of an amazing group of volunteers along with our other farmers. If possible, we would be grateful for the temporary use of available town land, which would be farmed solely for the purpose of growing food to feed people in need. Thank you for listening to this idea and for potential opportunity to work together to be a model for how local communities can work toward ending food security. Sincerely, Stacy Farley and Peter Daberon. So I met with them this morning with Claudio from the Rec Commission, and the property we are considering is the Osborne property, which is 9D and 403, the southwest corner of 9D and 403. Currently, we have a road down the middle. We have the future building for the Depot Theater, which will be closer to 403. But south of there, if you start heading down the temporary road that we put in to get to our well, there's at least an acre on either side of that. That's a strip that goes back. It will not be near the community garden. It's going to be further back and south and west of there. So we met this morning. I am thrilled to get this program in place. I think it's a perfect use of public land. What better use can we have than to feed people that need food? These two are very sincere, thorough. They're willing to install the electrical service because they're going to have to pump water. There is groundwater there that they feel will be enough to irrigate the sweet potatoes is what they want to plant because of the nutrients in the sweet potato and the ease of farming sweet potato. I wish I could grow something.
Is that the only thing they're planning on going?
At this point, they're going to put sweet potatoes. Yeah. So it's basically going to be a 1 acre. They're gonna map it out, a 1 acre parcel. Once we get that temporary road out of the way, maybe we'll be able to increase it to 2 or 3 acres, but they want to do a test run. We don't know what the soil is, if it's going to work, but they're willing to install the electrical service, which bring it in off of 403 to a pole, which will then serve the depot theater at some point, the access building or the support building for the depot theater. It could support anything that would go on there. I spoke to several members of the Rec Commission. I spoke to Joel and John Messick. They both are supportive of it, and I don't think there will be anybody on the Rec Commission that wouldn't be in support. I did reach out to OSI. I got a verbal approval from our representative, Brendan Murphy. Is it Murphy? Brendan Murphy, who is wonderful to work with. He was bringing it to his legal department. I also did speak with Steve. Do you want to elaborate, Steve, as to what?
Long story short, there needs to be a written agreement for use of the property. There has to be appropriate insurance in place and hold harmless to make sure that if there's any accidents in the course of the farming. I've never heard of a fatal sweet potato accident myself, but stranger things have happened.
Thanksgiving, sometimes.
Yeah.
Eating too much.
Perhaps that's it. But still, it just as a matter of proper procedure, you really need to have that written agreement in place. So we're going to draw one up. Jason's been kind enough to provide me with some draft agreements that have been used in other municipalities. I can frame this off that, and we'll put it together. And once you have the agreement signed, you'll need a resolution from the town board to approve it, of course. You'll be good to go.
I provided them with a survey of that pond, and they're going to mark out where they're going to want to put the garden and give it back to me.
That would be very helpful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they're good.
also, I
Stake.
don't think it'll be hard to get, we already have permission to put the garden, the new leaf garden around there. So this would, I don't think there'll be any problem getting it out.
Are they gonna try to grow stuff this year?
June 1, they're putting stuff in the ground.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't see there being any, getting electric, they need electric for the pump water. I mean, we could always provide a generator if we need to in the meantime, but to keep the rodents out, they have a small ground level electric fence, which is, it's not permanent, it's just a temporary thing they stake in. They use the same setup over here at Boscobel, so, but I guess it's very effective. So they're gonna do some more research about the type of beds they're gonna do, whether they're gonna be mulch beds or some other, I don't know, I'm not familiar. We have our own farm, but we provides food.
Expert.
So it's, in my eyes, it's a perfect use of the property, and I will do whatever we can to support it and get it going, so. But we'll wait for a legal document from you, Steve, and then we'll do a resolution to approve it.
It's a great idea.
You do that during the workshop?
Yeah, we could probably do it on the
17th,
17th, yep.
I mean, no surprise, obviously, as a farmer, really support that effort. And I've just got to say, Peter and Stacy are neighbors on South Mountain Pass, and I just think that, you know, the amount of effort they've put into Boscobel, donating 15,000 pounds of food to local food pantries, and the fact that the town's going to use land to do that, I mean, we should really be really proud. I mean, that's our own.
Amazing people in this community.
Yeah.
To be
So
proud
thanks
of.
to them.
It's something we all can be proud of.
So, they're both very good, nice people, Peter.
And I think that's all I have.
I just wanted to mention, you mentioned all these amazing volunteers in our town and initiatives, and it's Volunteer Awareness Month, so just thank you to everyone in Philipstown and we have a couple here, Nat and Claudio. And we also have, you're here this evening too, I know you volunteered a lot, so everyone who's volunteered for our town, I think we're extremely lucky to live in a town like
Yeah, it makes the town what it is.
it is.
One thing I did forget, my congratulations to the Haldane Blue Devil basketball team for making it to the state final. Unfortunately, we fell short again, 2 years in a row by 3 points. But just the fact that they made it there, I had a wonderful time. It's been a great ride between football, basketball, and now we're on to lacrosse. So I'm very proud of the Haldane, to all the Haldane teams, men and women. They're outstanding. So we have a wonderful school. We certainly do. Thank you, boys and girls.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah.
John, did you want to mention the vacancy?
I got one thing too. Last month I was a guest speaker of Chestnut Ridge Seniors. When I was there, I asked them if they were interested in going to Magazzino for a visit. So I got in touch with my contact up at Magazzino, I'd like to thank Giorgio and his wife Nancy, and the visitor coordinator, Andrea Connor. So we had like 12 residents go up there today. They had a private tour, and he also had a nice little lunch.
Did you drive the bus?
No, I had Magazzino's van come down. So anyway, I just wanted to thank Magazzino and everyone from Magazzino's staff for doing that today. It was very nice of them.
More wonderful residents, yes.
John, I'm gonna mention something, you know about it, but just for the public, the Walter Hoving Home has requested a letter of support from the town of Philipstown board, because they are, and we gave them a letter of support last year as they were looking into this project, but they are applying for, from the New York State DEC Hudson River Estuary Program, project funding from their funds available for tributary restoration projects. And so Walter Hoving Home is looking to do work on the creek outside of their property, but then also to expand potentially the culvert at Avery Road. So they'll provide us with a template letter of support just for us to sign by April 14th. Yeah.
Thank you.
I know Max had been involved with helping them with
Yes.
that as well.
Anything else? Call in the audience. Yes, sir.
Just clarification on the data committee.
Yeah.
It once, I thought, included members from Beacon and.
It was, they do have representation from Beacon and Fishkill as well. They are not,
This declaration is strictly the three.
they are not signatories to this letter. I don't know why, I don't know.
Time may be.
It was, right, it was, yes. Anything? No, we're good. Yes, we do have one vacancy for the Board of Assessment Review, so if you're out there dying to get involved with something,
So if you want to put an ad in the paper, we have to.
yeah, did we advertise it? I think we did.
I think Tara did, yes.
Okay.
So we can run it again.
Okay.
Yeah, if we didn't get any applicants, we'll just try it again.
Anything else? We're good? Approval of vouchers, general,
So moved.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Highway,
So moved.
second.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Continental Village Park District,
So moved.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Continental Village Water District,
so moved.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.